I remember a friend of mine, likely a cousin, invited me to his house in East Preston. We would be at work together and he would tell me how he grew up on a farm. All his stories of preparing chickens and herding goats. And I was fascinated. After spending the afternoon with him and well into the night, I had to break it to him. Brother, you are keeping traditions alive. You've been given one of the greatest gifts anyone could ever give. Self-sufficiency in generational knowledge. There's so much weight to telling people you're from the Preston Townships. Explaining to folks my grandmother's side of the family, they tell me, you come from a long line of Prestonians. It's been an amazing journey, finally meeting the family members I've only heard of growing up. Coming to East Preston, I talked with a relative, Dolly Williams, whose family could truly get tore out of a book titled Community. There's a strong sense of that in this house.
As I talk a lot, I jump all over the place, so you might have to bring me in.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. Good.
My sisters are all very quiet, but I'm not the quiet type, so they should never ask me to be their spokesperson, because, and my father made a mistake. I went to a ratepayers meeting one night and come home. I was so upset. My dad said, blow off the steam at the meeting. You don't come home and talk about it. Do it at the meeting. Yeah. What a mistake. Next time I went to the meeting, hello. What do you do when you get angry? You curse. My grandfather right there could curse your ear off, put it back on, you didn't even know it was even off. Yeah, he was a natural. My grandfather was a workaholic, and his mother was a Clayton, is a Mi'kmaq. We were Mi'kmaq descendants, so we had that as well. So, but they were workaholics. But my grandfather, my father worked the grounds every day in the winter. And what they did in the fall, they always made sure and stocked everything up in a barn so that people in the winter could still come and get vegetables and stuff from them. In the wintertime when it snowed, there was no snow plows. My father and grandfather would put the horse together and they would build this, I could still see this snow plow, wooden snow plow. They make this snow plow and they would put rocks on top of it to hold it down, and to get the kids, we would sit on it. So those of us that didn't mind being sit on the sleigh, and he would go and plow the whole community. Like this number 7 highway, sometimes he'd go out, come down Glasgow Road, come out, go all up Governor Street, all over with the horse and plow the streets. See that guy up there with the dog? That was my dad. It's a nursing home.
Oh, wow.
He was 80-some years old. Up there, he might have been 80. You wouldn't think it. He got no gray hair. He died, he had a few salt and pepper shakes around the side.
And your dad's name was?
Aubrey Harris Glasgow.
Aubrey Harris Glasgow.
Yeah, he fed half the community in the community. Him and his father, John Henry Glasgow, was his father.
Wow.
Yeah, we're a small family, but we are very close. Like I can get upset with my brother, whatever. He might say to me, you're not my mother, but we can still walk away. We might be angry, but I love you, sis. I love you too. So that's what it's all about, being a family and loving one another. We teach each other how to become better people. And I know my son is in Toronto, and one day, Mom, I was walking down the street and someone said, hey, Sinclair. Yeah. Oh my God. You Sinclair Williams' kid? Your father saved my behind so many times. It wasn't for your dad, I'd be in jail. Your father was a cop in the city of Dartmouth. I did something wrong. He could have said to me, your ass is going to jail, but he come and set me down and said, you need to do this, this, and this. This is what you need to do. And because of your dad, and he said, now so many people up in Ontario, just up here in Ontario saying, your father, Sinclair Williams, saved my ass as a cop. He saved my butt. One night I went to pick him up, and I could hear this man yelling, pick the son up. The son was out on the street. He called his father and said, I got your kid here. So the father comes down yelling and screaming, and he said, all you ever done, Dad, every weekend you give me $50 or $25, say, go and go get yourself, have some fun, whatever. This constable went an hour. In 1 hour, I got more love from him than I got from you in my 18 years of life. You keep telling me, go do this, this, and this. He told me don't go to the black community because it's not safe. I'm going to see the black community tomorrow. Anyway, when he left sick of that night, he said, thank you, Mr. Williams. He called him Councilor Williams. I'll be back. Anyway, the young guy ended up leaving Dartmouth, went out west, got a trade, but every time that young white boy showed up to come back home, he'd call Sinclair, it's Councilor Williams, I can speak to Councilor Williams, please. And so many times, even when he passed away, we got a letter from him thanking Mr. Williams for his life and for helping him get his career on board. Another woman in Ontario, her husband come down, was off sick then with MS. They came out, I want to talk to him, I want to thank him for my wife. So your wife, how do you thank you for your wife? He said, no, your husband saved my wife. His wife, her prior husband was beating the hell out of her. She said he was the only cop that finally come into her house and sat down with her and said, no, you're going to jail. Then her husband tried to say that Sinclair had beat him up. And the wife finally said in the court, no, he did not. What he did, he pulled you off of me. She met this guy from Ontario, told him the story, and he said, I never ever forgot Sinclair Williams, Constable Sinclair Williams, Dartmouth Police Department. Gotta go there and thank this man, because if it wasn't for him, he said, like, I'm a Christian, I believe God is in the picture. If it wasn't for him, I would not have met you. I would not have met you. So he also would come down. When Sinclair passed away, they sent a letter. The family did that, giving us condolences on behalf of their family for their mother. And the mother always talked to Holly about Sinclair. Said when she went to court, he came to court and defended her, gave her all the rights. So even though things that a lot of cops might not have done or should have done, didn't do, but Sinclair was a human being first. There he is, his first picture. This is him. When they recognized him, when they did the black police officer and put him in the Black Culture Center, they put him in this uniform. That uniform to show that he was,
Yeah, see, when I think of police officers now, they don't have those same community values as they did. It's more like, you got in trouble, arrested, jail. But like when you talk about him, it's just like that's what policing for me is all about, right? Is getting to know your community
and people.
Yeah.
Everybody loved him. Yeah. That's who he was. A man of God, and he enjoyed his job. He loved his work. Yep.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep. He loved his job. He loved people. Yep. He respected everybody, regardless of who they were. And you can see that smile on his face. That's who he was. Kids loved him. Everybody loved him. He was a man of peace. Like everybody said, I don't know how you got caught. I said, well, thank God I got caught with him and not somebody else. Young girl from out here, she calls us Mom Daddy, and she lives in Ontario now. She lost her daughter through a violent death, dealing with the police and whatever. RCMP showed up, they brought her, if they was charged with something she didn't do. And she had no place to go because her family said, well, we can't bring you in because the cops are coming. She came here, the cops come looking for her. So I said, yep, she's in my house. He said, you're a police officer? She said, yep, I'm a police officer. And she's not going, she's not guilty. And you're not taking her down, you're not putting her in a cell. She didn't do anything, she's not going out. Anyway, she stayed, went to court, won her case, and she got her life on track. She was doing some stuff, but today she's still like a part of our family. And she always says, your husband, she called him, Daddy Williams saved me. And it wasn't just about doing his job, he did. And that's the kind of cop he was. And because of Sinclair joining the police department, we had a lot of black guys that joined after him and followed in his footsteps. There was no Tim Horton coffee. We were was a black officer in Dartmouth, but when they wanted a place to come, many RCMP this became their place. They come here and be simply as buddies. They come here to coffee. If you're in the community, come here. If the cars are in the yard, come have coffee. So this became their hub. This was not a hub for police, the RCMP, many of them back in the day, but also for kids in the community.
Right.
Like our house, my sister's house across the street, this was like the family hub. One of the kids said to me one time, I was in Ontario, said, Mrs. Van, we ate so many meals at your house. I don't know what it was. I mean, I don't even know Mommy cooked because we ate at your house all the time because it was like a hub. This is what we did. They felt safe, like the community did that. And we had this connection of community.
So this is where like all your family grew up on this property?
Yep. And Aunt Pearl would have lived here. That was my Aunt Pearl. She died, so the niece is renting that spot out now.
Pearl, is it Pearl Glasgow?
Yeah, Pearl Glasgow, yeah. She was married to, my mom and her were married brothers. Our families are really close.
Yeah.
Like especially when we grew up, the kids, my kids and Frida's kids, or Cinco kids, Ruben's kids, they all come in one. It's just like it's your home. Everybody was a part. We all shared everything. Yeah. So yeah. Hey Rodney, come on out. Put the boots on. This is Rodney.
Hi, Rodney.
You should have me dressed. I look terrible for this. Oh, Lord, pardon me.
You saw Cinco's father in the picture?
Yes.
How he dressed? That's what Rodney. You don't see Rodney undressed. So this is whatever he tells you. Don't.
I think you still look good, Rodney.
You're very kind.
So how many houses used to be up here? Like I know you mentioned like
Just the two.
Just the two.
Okay.
Yeah, Granddaddy's house.
And my,
In Daddy's house.
Yeah.
Yep.
one was up there, and the other one was right over
right
there.
here.
With this, my shed is the other house is right there originally.
Yeah. And Aunt Mary, she moved down.
And I Mary also know there's another house in Dolly.
Yeah, up
There's
on the
another
rock,
house
up past that rock pile. But she moved down the road years ago.
Yes. And also with his houses, this was all farmland as well. Like that was all field.
Do you still grow anything back there? Like any
No.
little
I just do flowers and just perennials. And that's basically it.
Right.
To do farms, to grow vegetables now, oh Lord, that's a lot of work. That's too much. I have this here to maintain. This is enough work as it is.
So like in terms of like Glasgow, so Glasgow's, I know a lot of them grew up in East Preston, but were there anywhere else in Nova Scotia, like Glasgow's in particular?
Well, there's some in North Preston now because they married and went up to North Preston, but the ones that are up in North Preston is originally over here as well.
Yeah, but also the two Glasgowmen that was here, they lived back there, right? They started this. That's how we come here because of our ancestors from. Where were they from?
Virginia.
Virginia, yes.
Virginia.
Those two Glasgowmen started
Virginia.
here, and that's how the Glasgows came and developed on this property here.
In fact,
I come here.
Yeah.
That's
In
how
fact,
we
when I
all-
was down in was it Tennessee? Yeah, I was down for a Baptist convention. I ran across this woman. Her name, she was the head of the Baptist convention. She was a deacon, and her name was Glock. I said to her, she showed me a picture of her husband. And she gave it to me and looked just like my father. I said, oh my God, that's Dad. She said, no, that's my husband. I said, that's my father. Anyway, I brought it back to the church.
Yeah.
Everybody said, where you get that picture of your father? He's looking so good. I said, that's not Daddy. That's the deacon so-and-so. He's a Glasgow from down in the States. He looked just like my father, Arbor. You would have sworn to God they were twins.
Wow.
And I said, we just don't know where people are, right?
Yeah.
We got so many people out there we don't know about yet who. And Coyne did ran across Glasgow and Vancouver at a teaching conference one year. So there's people out there. We just got to go and do our history, try to figure out where we are.
Yeah.
Scattered at. Yep. It's a lot of work to be done.
It's a lot.
Yep.
And it's crazy too, because like I really appreciate how some names like have stood the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I look back at like when the Black Loyalists came here, like 1783. You look on some of those lists and the names that existed back, and they're still here.
The Glasgows are down on that, and I was shocked when I saw Glasgow name on there. I said, "Oh, we are loyalists." Hello. I'm down and dancing around this glass. Hope I don't fall through. And someone said, "Dolly, your name's right over there." My cousin, Sinclair's cousin, said, "Dolly, stop jumping. You're over there." I said, "What?" He said, "She's over there. You're on the glass. You're here." I said, "Okay. We've been everywhere."
Yeah.
But we just got to find it. We just got to do the history. Yep. But so this is where I was raised and born and kicked up holy hell and hey, Rodney, did whatever.
Yes.
So how long has the family really been here?
Over 100 years, easy.
Wow.
Yeah. So hopefully, I'll be able to pass on to somebody else in the family. So that way the legacy can live on. So once we lose this here, the land that we have belongs to Glasgow will be something of the past, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, if I will lose someone else, that way it'll always be in the family, right? And I grew up when I was little. I left here when I was 17 years old, and I came back to this property when I was 52 years of age.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went to the city to live, and then I came back. Here I am. So it was a good move, and I feel good. I'm glad to be back on the land I grew up on. It's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. It's a piece, lovely. It's great.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Only thing I don't like, the long driveway. You gotta walk them out. They take your spin down, but it's okay. It's part of exercise. So do what you gotta do.
Life is great.
Yeah.
So I've been very blessed. I've been very blessed to have. I look at my family. I look at my life, and my dad always said, you know what? Don't let the don't. Whatever you do, think positive. I can get pissed off in a minute, and I'll tell you in a minute. I'll tell you right now. I'm not these. You know how people will sit back and take a lot. I'm not this calm and collective. I like doing stuff, and I like what I do, but I don't take a lot of crap. I'm not a person to take. Like Sinclair would sit there, and I would say, Sinclair, come on, man.
Say something.
Dolly, leave it. Leave it. Come on, Sinclair, do it. No, leave it. Oh yeah, my mother like that. She would say, "You get more with honey with your dinner." Oh please.
You mentioned your mom Dukes. Is this your mom Dukes right here?
Yeah, that's Mom Hilda. My mom was the oldest little family of she had they had eight kids. My mom was the oldest. She quit school when she was 13 to take care of her sisters and brothers.
Wow.
And I always told me her story. My mom was like, she was our role model. She would, when we had the kids, like when we got married, they let us stay over home, and Sonia always calls Mama her mother. She says, Mama, Mama raised me. I said, okay, Mama. And when we built the house and moved here, they kept telling her, you don't have to leave yet, stay. I said, Mama, well, the house is ready, we can go. No, you don't have to go. You guys can stay. I said, Mama, we're gonna go. We put 5 years. You guys put up with us, and we're gonna. But it was so. We didn't want to leave her, but my mother was a great person, great sense of humor, very calm. Her calmness. My sister urges her. Like I didn't get her patience. My mother was loving, caring. Everybody in the neighborhood would come down. Like 50 kids could show up at her house for skate. She would give them all. She would make cut apple cider for all of them. And say that come on, put some carpet down. Come on and put your snakes. Don't put skates on inside the house. Mom, the skates. Mom, let them come in, put the skates on it. They all come in, put on it one by one, and then run out to the pond. That's how she was. My mother loved everybody, and my kids, she loved everybody. I would say our elders came from nothing, but what they got, they had nothing. What they got, they earned, and they taught the younger people how to do the same thing.
Yeah. They
weren't selfish. It wasn't about, today is all about, it's about themselves. That wasn't the case back then.
When I moved from Spryfield to Uniac Square when I was 8, like the sense of community was so strong. Like it was like I was just moving in there, and people would come to my house. Be like, oh, you're new here? Yep, come over here. This is who this person is. This is who this person is. This is who I am. This is my family. Who's your family? You know what I mean? And we would make that connection that way.
Look at their face and say, you must be so and so.
Exactly.
And they still do that. But now, because of so many, I would say, unless you saw Evan, you wouldn't know that who Zach is. Both those kids are biracial, and today most of our community is biracial, which is fine. It's fine. But I could walk up to a kid years ago and say, "Oh, you're so and so. You're a Kane. Oh, you're a Diggs." But I can't look at a kid today and say, "Oh, you're a Diggs. Oh, you're a Kane." No, that's not. But it's okay because my family is very integrated.
Same with mine too.
My father said, "Doesn't you go play with who you want to play with?"
Yeah.
And I know when my kids were growing up, our kids stayed overnight in some of their friends' home, and we had them here. So I remember one time friends said to us, "Well, how come you guys got this white kids living at your house?" So what doesn't matter? These are kids they go to school with. My son is down there, they're here. That's what life is about. I can't go to church on Sunday and say I'm a Christian on Sunday, and all of a sudden on Monday, I get rid of that stuff. That's not how we were raised, and that's how I was raised, and that's how I am today.
Yeah.
People say, you know what? My life has been growing up, parents taught us everybody's a human being. Regardless what color they are, they're human beings. But they treat you with respect, you treat them with respect, and you give respect to everybody. My grandmother was a Carberry. The Carberry from Africville, my grandmother came with Africville.
So who's your grandmother? What's her name?
Lavinia Taylor. Okay, my great-grandmother, Lavinia Taylor, was a Carberry, married George Henry Taylor. And my mother was Hilda Kathleen Taylor Carberry, but Carberry, you know, back then you didn't keep the name, but my grandmother was a Carberry for Africville. Africville Carberries, urban Carberry, the Carberries relate to us.
I am a Carberry.
You a Carberry? Well, then we're related.
My grandfather was Victor Carberry, Irvin's brother.
Victor Carberry, my cousin.
That's my grandfather.
Oh my God, Victor, we're cousins then. Victor and oh God, yeah, we are cousins. My grandmother was a Carberry, yeah, from Africville. I just started doing my tree. It's crazy because everybody's like this, like an octopus. All these people.
You started doing your tree?
Everybody's related. So before you go with anybody black in this community, you talk to us. It's funny that we can joke about those things now, but that is a reality in our lives because we don't really all know who all we are. Because our communities are split up, and because we don't have the history denied us, and the fact that we learned our language was taken from us, and even though we're in community, we still don't know. Even like I feel sort of a lot of younger kids growing up. Like my family, I'm very fortunate because we tell them who they know who they are. We tell them who the family is. But a lot of kids don't know that. I've seen so many kids, I talk to them, who are you? Oh, I'm so-and-so. Well, do you know your grandmother? Who was she? No. In order to know who you are, you gotta know your roots, you gotta know your past. So I keep telling my kids, I educate them much as I can. And I like I said, I love my community, East Preston. East Preston is a very loving community. I know there's a lot of things going on now, a lot of things have happened in our community. There's been some violence going on, there's something, but again, it's because without the lack of an economic base, the young people got no place to go, and they think the quickest way to do it is by doing sex trade or drugs. And they don't, when they bring that stuff into the community, destroying their community. But there's a better way to do it than that. You can get educated and you can become self-sufficient. We have this group called Road to Economic Prosperity.
Yeah, are you involved in that?
I'm a co-chair.
Nice.
Along with your cousin Irvin. We're the co-chairs, and we got 10 black communities in HRM. We are very fortunate to get those groups to come together, and we're all black community came together to find out, get our plan put in place, get our land back, and find out who you are, and do not let builders, and I thank Beachville did it, Beachville started. Now Beachville is no longer, remember they went and called Beachville the park, Lakeside Park in Beachville? That's no longer Lakeside, that's now Beachville. Beachville got their land back, said, no, you can't, this is Beachville, you can't change the name. So it's now called Beachville Industrial Park. They got their boundaries back, they're getting their land back, and we got to do the same thing. Hammond's Place is working on theirs. So the land trust and everything we do in our community, I think is so important. And people ask, why do I go do it? I do because somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said to my doctor, when you retire, don't stay home because you'll die from lack of doing anything. I don't plan on stopping. I'm not going to stop till God tells me that I should sit down.
Superpowers exist. For someone to be able to look at you out the blue and know exactly who your family is or what community you come from is special. I think that's why first impressions are so important. Community is so important. Moving and raising our children as one, giving someone the support and advice they need in that moment can change people. So keep it moving. Keep looking for your people. It'll help guide you in the long run.